Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys doing well. Hope everybody's feeling on top of things, and it's gonna get better. Don't worry about it. First of all, it's gonna get a little bit difficult in the beginning, but it's gonna get better. If you are observant, if you're intelligent, if you're smart, if you learn from your mistakes and you learn from your environment and you become stronger and make the right decisions and become mentally stronger and resilient, you're gonna get better. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. I want to talk today about kind of an uncomfortable topic, but it has to be talked about, which is family involvement. So I already talked about this before, but we have to mention it again. So it's pretty clear that 90% of the TIs that I speak to, they report that their family is involved. You know, families joining in these activities, family members harassing the TI, trying to drive them crazy, annoy them, trying to put them in prison or put them in jail or put them in a mental hospital. The family seems to be very shifty in their behavior, and it just seems that every behavior of theirs seems to be deliberately oriented towards harming the TI in some fashion. You know, for example, your family, from what I've seen from a lot of TIs reporting this, that their family might be involved in trying to get them to be on medical drugs, to put them on antipsychotics and drugs that they shouldn't be using, and to drug them out because then they'd be easier to manipulate and harass and target and get them killed. And of course, because this is a takedown program, of course, part of it would be to eventually get you killed. This is pretty obvious. So a lot of TIs do report being that their family has sold them out, so to speak, that the family is involved in these activities. And guys, I would say this, I get this all the time. I get people saying to me, "Oh no, but it's actually the gangstalkers who are trying to separate you from your families. They're trying to turn you against your family and try to make you think that your family is involved. That way, you would have less of a network." So that you cannot have somebody to support you, basically, and that would make you an easier target. And I think about it and I say, I definitely see what you're saying, and that would make a lot of sense. Divide and conquer, yes. But unfortunately, this is not the case. Yes, it's true that the gang stalkers are trying to divide and conquer. They are trying to pit your family against you, and they are trying to create problems. They're trying to get you to separate from your family. However, but the problem is this: they are succeeding. This is the problem. They are succeeding in doing this. Because if it was just them trying to get you to think that your family is against you when your family is not against you, it wouldn't be a problem. The issue is they are actually succeeding in turning your family against you. Nine times out of 10, the TIs that I speak to, they always report the same thing. They say that my family is definitely involved. I see a lot of gang stalking behavior from them, harassment, stalking, spying, spyware is being used, cameras, just really, really messed up fucking behavior, and directed conversations and all sorts of stuff. And behavior that seems to be quite aggressive and manipulative and gaslighting and trying to drive you crazy and trying to harm you in many ways, put you in prison, put you in a mental hospital, put you under psych meds and all sorts of stuff that's going to dull you out and slow down your brain so you can't think properly. And therefore, when the gang stalking does actually happen, you can't manage these things. You can't really deal with it. So my explanation to all of this is that unfortunately the gang stalkers are succeeding. In 90% of the cases, they are succeeding in getting the families to betray and sell out the TIs. And this is actually a pivotal point. This is one of the main reasons why the gang stalking is taking place and why it's so effective. Because had you had a connection with your family, had you had a network with the family, no matter how small or big your family is, but if people just knew that you had a connection with your family and you were protected by your family, they would not be able to pull half the shit that they're pulling off on you. The reason why they're going against you so viciously is because of the fact that you have no support. They know that you have no support. Of course, we know that when TIs get together and create a group and family, they don't want that because they know that then it's very difficult for them to do anything because you then have numbers. If you have 20 TIs getting together and forming an off-grid community and just living together in peace and watching out for each other and protecting each other, think about how difficult it would be for the gangstalkers to attempt to harass you or stalk you or do anything to you. It would be particularly difficult. So where is this problem coming? I'm going to talk about something, which is how do they get your families to be involved? I know it sounds psychotically mind-blowing that your family would engage in all of these activities against you and sell you out and betray you so easily without telling you, without even having a conversation with you. I mean, in my case, nobody in my family talked about to me or brought any of this up. It just happened one day in 2016. Bam, 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 bam. Lots of fucked up shit happened, and I just found myself, living in this hell. So I'm going to explain it to you bit by bit. That way you're going to understand why it's happening. Why is your family so easy, finds it so easy to betray you and throw you under the bus, essentially for peanuts? Why is this? I'm going to explain to you. The thing is that you as a TI, in most likelihood, you come from a dysfunctional family. See, there is normal families, regular stand-up straight families, because if you have a stand-up straight family and somebody comes to you and says, well, we're going to gang stalk. We're going to stalk and harass and gang stalk your son. Let us do it, okay? And we're going to give you money. The mother or the father is not going to be like, hell yeah, I'm going to let you gang stalk my son. What? No, your father or mother would be like, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. If you come here, next time you come here, I'm going to fucking kill you. That's a normal family. That's a normal reaction. But you, as a TI, you don't come from no normal family. You come from a messed up, dysfunctional, fucked up family. And you can look it up. Toxic families, it exists. It's talked about a lot in psychology and psychiatry's talking about it. You can go watch videos from Professor Sam Vaknin. Sam Vaknin has talked about this multiple times. Dysfunctional families that have personality disorders, psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, histrionics, borderline, schizoid, schizotypal, bipolar, all of these things. If this family of yours that you come from is dysfunctional and has a lot of mentally ill, genuinely very sick individuals, and because they are sick, they will allow these things to happen to you. So apparently, as a TI, 9 times out of 10, from what I found, you do come from a dysfunctional family. You come from a family that is very dysfunctional, very mentally ill, very not normal, and very toxic, very abusive. I'm sure that if you are a TI, I'm pretty fucking sure that, your parents and generally your family has abused you quite a lot. I've had a pretty rough, abusive upbringing, and that's just the way it is. No hard feelings. So, why are they so ready to sell you out? I'm going to explain it to you now. See, think of it this way. Gang stalking is like communism. Okay. If you don't know much about communism, I'm pretty sure you have heard of the word communism, but maybe you don't know much about it. Communism, it's a very complicated ideology. I'm not going to go through all the details of what communism entails and what communism is. However, communism, one of the main facets, one of the main ideologies in communism is that they don't believe in family structures. The communists do not believe in families. They don't believe in the nuclear family. So they don't believe that there is a family made up of a mother and a father and a son and a daughter and these things, and extended families. They don't believe in that. The communist belief is, they believe in something called statism. statism. So that means the rule of the state. That means the state is called public property. So in capitalism, you have private property, right? Private affairs. Everything is private. The communists are public property. They believe that the state, statism, the state owns all the means of production and all the workers and all the employees and all the families and all the individuals and family members. So, under communism, get this in your head, under communism, there is no family. They have no respect for families. You are just a cog in a wheel. A cog in a wheel. A cog in the machine, whatever. As an individual, you don't belong to your family. You belong to the state. So there is no family. The family will obey the state. They will get down on their knees and they will suck the dick of the state. And when the state says, you know what? You have a son, right? We want this son for some kind of experimentation from the government. Yeah, pretty please. We'll give you money. And they'll say, oh yeah, sure. Why not? They'll do it. Because of communism. Communism does not believe in families. There's no private families. There's no natural families. They don't believe in any of this. Under communism, you are just a cog in the giant wheel of the machine. You're just a member of the state. You are a part of the state. The state owns you. And they don't respect the fact that you are from this family. So they just own you. So basically when your family under communism, if the state approaches your family and says, well, we want your kid or you want whatever for some fucking thing, they would just say, oh, whatever, sure. We'll take the deal and give you money and fuck them. They can go fuck themselves. Okay. In my case, actually, it just so happens that my father is a communist. He has been a communist for a very long time. And I mean, a real communist, like a hardcore communist. And he was working for the communists. He was propounding the communist agenda, propounding the communist beliefs, like political activism. Like, this is not just, words or something. This is like political activism in terms of communism. So this link that I'm making is not nonsense. It's not bullshit. It is pretty real. So this is the problem. The communism that is happening nowadays, you can call it left-wing, liberal. I mean, liberal and left-wing Democrats, they are just a light, soft version of communists. Technically speaking, there is no leftism or liberalism. It's all communism, okay? Communism is the original idea. And the communists, because when people try to do communism, of course, they failed miserably, right? You saw what happened in Russia and all these fucked up countries, the USSR, right? And people realized, they were like, oh God, fuck, communism is horrible. Look at the Balkan countries, the Balkanization, right? Albania and Greece and Slovenia and all these countries in the Balkan that decided to Balkanize, said, fuck you, we're going to get out of the USSR and we're going to create our own countries. And then, of course, their countries got better. Macedonia, for example, they got much better when they left the USSR, because the USSR was just coming and taking everything from the Macedonians and the Romanians and the Albanians. And, this is a giant fucking mishmash. Anyway, guys, people saw how horrible communism is and they decided, we don't want to have anything to do with it. So now, because they cannot sell you the idea of communism because it's so tainted, it's so horrible, they come to you like a snake and they say, oh, no, we're not communists. We're liberals. We're Democrats. We're leftists. But they're communists. It's a soft version of communism. That's what it is. And be very careful from these communists. They are horrible, horrible fucking people. They have no protective instinct for their own kids, for their own families, for their own wives, for their own families, for nothing. So if, the people who are communists, they just obey the government no matter what. So this explains a lot of things. And the gang stalking is a form of forced communism. They're trying to force communism on the masses. They're trying to force communism on people. And this is one of the reasons why you notice, for example, in the gang stalking, they will spy on you and they will invade. See, the whole thing about gang stalking is they're trying to invade your privacy, to make sure that you have no privacy. Because communists don't want privacy. You cannot have privacy. You know what I mean? So they're going to stalk you. They're going to harass you, not going to allow you to have any privacy. They will watch you whilst you are sleeping. They'll watch you in your house with technology and everything. You know what I mean? They don't want you to have privacy. Communists. Communists don't want you to have privacy. That's part of the deal. So why is your family betraying you so easily? Because it's a fucked up family. You come from a dysfunctional family unit full of personality disordered individuals who follow communism. They believe in communism. And they don't believe that you're a family member. They just see you as a member of the state. You are a property, a public property of the state. Okay? So when the time comes and they want to sell you out, they will sell you out. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to many other TIs. So if you're a TI and you're wondering, why is this happening to me? Why am I being gang stalked? Why is my family not giving a shit? And why does it seem that my family is involved? Because they sold you out, because they never gave a shit about you, because they're communist pieces of fucking shit that believe that you are just like a slave to the state, essentially. And they're a pretty dysfunctional family. So this is the reason why. Does it look? I understand this position that you are in is very, very difficult. It's difficult for me and it's difficult for you. However, we're rational, right? And we're going to try to find solutions. Okay. So, it sucks to not have a family. Absolutely. It sucks. It's immensely horrible to not have a family and a network to take care of you. I understand. However, leaving your toxic family is one of the better things that you can do, unfortunately, because the alternative is worse. The alternative to having a family is the alternative to not having a family is actually much worse, because then you do have a family, but there are enemies. Then your family is a bunch of enemies who are just conspiring against you and trying to destroy your life and following the orders of some government who's trying to like destroy you and mess up your life and make sure that you can't live your life or have anything to do or even live and trying to get you killed. So it makes sense that you would want to you wouldn't want to have anything to do with your family. So I understand having not having a family is pretty messed up. However, what's the alternative? Do you want to stick? Do you really want to stick around for the rest of your life with a messed up family that is conspiring against you and trying to get you killed and involved in your demise, involved in your gang stalking? No, you don't want to, right? You don't want to, exactly, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You don't have to put up with that kind of crap. So have some self-respect for yourself. Don't allow these people in your life. I mean, I get it. With the gang stalkers, you cannot avoid them. They're trying to force themselves into your life. Do what you can to push them away. But the people that you let into your life, that is something that you can definitely control. You do not have to foster a relationship with someone that you don't trust, that you don't believe in, that you don't genuinely believe that they have their best interest at heart for you. Especially if they're sitting there and conspiring against you. Don't do it. There's no point. So I hope that I explained to you all this family involvement and why it's happening and why most of the TIs are getting betrayed by their families and why they're having all these problems and why your family is selling you out so easily is essentially because it's a dysfunctional messed up family, and because of the communism that is pretty rampant nowadays, and the communist system that is happening. And of course, it seems that probably your family is a bunch of communists, and most likely, or at least that they kowtow to the globalist world government and the communists, because the communists are working hand in hand with the globalists, and they're trying to create a worldwide globalist agenda. So, because if you think about it, most of the people who do come from pretty conservative, right-wing Republican families, especially in America, but it can be anywhere in the world, because you can have conservative families anywhere in the world, this would never happen to them. The gangstalking would never happen to them. Like, if you if you come from some family that lives in, some tiny little village in the wilderness, or some village that is, in like hillbilly country, for example, that are pretty conservative and right wing, this would never happen to you. I swear to God, this would never happen to you. It would never happen to you. So, guys, this is the way that it is, and you have to accept this. You have to accept that you don't have a family. Running away from the truth, hiding from the truth is not going to help you. You have to accept the truth. You do not have a family, or at least you don't have a family that you can trust. They are not on your side. And I'm not saying this to isolate you and get you in trouble, but you can foster a relationship with your family all you want and pretend that nothing is happening. But reality is reality. They are going to still be digging